Hello everybody, my name is Kyline3639. Welcome back to another video. Today in this one it's going to be another card analysis video, and in this one it's going to be on the new Valiant archetype that is coming out in Tactical Masters that actually doesn't have a TCG release date yet. But yes, we need to cover this archetype because it is the new archetype on the block right now. It's also a pendulum archetype as well, so you have Triff and all those fans just going off right now, and they have another reason to be very happy too. Once we get into the actual card analysis, I will tell you that. I'll tell you the reason why. But yeah, in this video, we're just going to be covering every single card that is in the archetype, and at the end of the video, I'll give you my opinions on the archetype itself. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So now getting into the card by card here, we have we have 7 main monsters, which is also pendulum monsters. We have 2 field spells, and then we have also 2 fusion monsters to cover. So they have a lot of things going for it right now. But the one thing we do have to cover before we get into all the cards is little heavy metal foes Electromite here. As you can see, Electromite's actually going to get reprinted in the set, at least in the OCG. As you know, the OCG actually has this card at 1, so it's not banned like it is currently in the TCG. Now, does that have implications on Electromite maybe coming off in the near future for this archetype to get the support? Who knows? Last year we thought with it because of the Gran, so the Sloth Accords and stuff like that. But this one has a direct way of saying, hey, maybe this comes off because it's actually getting reprinted in this set. Who knows? But that has a lot more people getting excited because Electromite is actually getting reprinted in this set as well to help out this pendulum archetype. But without further ado, let's actually cover the pendulum archetype itself. Starting off with Seon Archer of the Valiants. So this is a pendulum monster with a skill of 1, and it's also a level 4 water monster. So its pendulum effect is during your main phase, you can special summon this card to a main monster zone in this card's column. And you cannot special summon for the rest of the turn except for Valiant monsters and monsters from your extra deck, and you can only use this effect of the card once per turn. So it's an interesting pendulum effect. A lot of them have the same pendulum effect where you can basically summon from the scale up to the monster zone ahead of it to just get it special summoned out, and then you're locked into Valiants for the rest of the turn and extra deck monsters. Now that's the thing, you're locked from Valiants from your main deck, but from your extra deck, it seems like just how it's worded that you're fine to summon whatever you want from the extra deck. And that actually makes sense if Electromite is getting reprinted as well, to not lock you from anything from the extra deck. So it's just, you're locked into Valiants and whatever the hell you have in your extra deck, which is very nice because not locking them from their extra deck is pretty good to have, like the Electromite. There's a new Link 2 coming out in Dimension Force that should be helping this out as well. But its monster effect is, if you control this special summon card, you can target 1 effect monster on the field, toss a coin, and if it's head, negate the effects of the card. Now it's interesting because it's a gambling effect, so I don't know how much you want to do it. If it's tails, the current attack becomes halved, which is, I guess, you want the negate effect, or sometimes you want to just half its attack. I don't know which one you want to go for there, but it's more of a chance, And then if this card is moved from a monster zone to another, target 1 card on the field, toss a coin. If it's head, destroy it. If it's tails, return it to the hand. That's actually pretty good because no matter what, you're gaining advantage anyway. So that actually is a good effect. Even though it's a gambling effect, both effects are still pretty good. Either destroy the card or return it to the opponent's hand. That is a very good effect, I would think. And you can only use each effect of this card once per turn. So very, very good card to start off the archetype. Next one up, we got Nezuko Ninja of the Valiants. Again, I'm terrible at pronouncing names. I do apologize. But this is a level 6 water monster, which has a scales of 1 as well. Its pendulum effect is if a Valiant world, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. I'm going to mispronounce it to hell, is in the field zone, or if you control a water monster, a water Valiance monster, you can spell summon this card from your main monsters to your main monster zone in this card's column. You can only use the effect of Nezuko Ninja of Valiance once per turn. Okay, not too bad. Just have a good way to special summon it if you control, I think this is this field spell here, or a water Valiance monster as well. But its monster effect is you can target one other monster in the main monster zone, move it to an adjacent monster zone. Okay, that's not bad because it triggers effects like the Archer Valiants here. If it's moved, it can, return or destroy a card on the field. But if this card is moved from a monster zone to another, target one Valiant monster card in the spell or trap zone, special summon it to your main monster zone in its column. You can only use each effect of Nezuko, Ninja of the Valiants, once per turn. Now it's a little confusing because you have a lot of column placements and stuff like that. But again, just another free special summon as well from its not only its pendulum effect of free special summon itself, but can also free special summon another card by its effect if it moves himself. So very, very decent card there. We have a Hojo, Warrior of the Valiants, which is a, oh my god, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, level 8 water Valiant monster, which a scale of 1 as well, just as the other ones were. And its pendulum effect is if a Valiant Void, again, it's this one, I'm not even going to try to pronounce it, is in your field zone, or if you control a water Valiant monster, you can special summon this card to your main monster zone in this card's column. You can only use the effect of Hojo Warrior of the Valiant once per turn. Again, another free special summon here. It's the same thing as the Nezuko Ninja of the Valiants for its pendulum effect. But its monster effect is you can target one face-up card in the spell or trap zone, return it to the hand. I guess it can come up and it can target one of your opponent's spell and traps, but you can, of course, always target one of yours. If this card is moved from a monster zone to another, you can fusion summon one Valiant fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion materials, as well as cards in your pendulum zone. That's very interesting. Has a good way to, have a fusion monster to summon out, because this actually doesn't have a fusion spell in its archetype. So, this is going to be the monster that brings out these fusion monsters itself. So a very decent card there. We got Valiant's Buster Baron. It's a level 2 fire monster, which a scale of 1 as well. Now we get into the more machine Valiants, as I like to call them here. You had your little special humans here, and then you have your machine ones here. So we're starting off with the level 2 here. Its pendulum effect is during your main phase, you can spell summon this card to your main monster zone in this card's column. Also, you cannot spell summon for the rest of the turn except for Valiant monsters from your extra deck. So it locks you into Valiants and cards from your extra deck as well. You can only use this effect of Baron once per turn. Again, a free special summon to the pendulum zone that's ahead of it, which is pretty weird. Thankfully, they have ways to move your main monster zone. And then its monster effect is you control this special summon card. You can target one other Valiant monster in your main monster zone. Move that target to an adjacent main monster zone. Okay, another effect that can move one of your archetypes into another zone and trigger their effects and stuff like that. And then if this card is moved from a monster zone to another, you can target one pendulum zone, place it, or target one card in your pendulum zone, place it in a face-up adjacent spell or trap zone as a continuous spell. Interesting. So you can move a monster from the scale into another spell and trap zone. I guess that can free up your pendulum scale if you want to. That's very interesting effect there. I don't know, because it's going to be weird. That's actually going to be... Oh, that is going to be weird, because these don't really care if you're in the pendulum scale, if you want to move them from the pendulum scale up. I guess this can move into a spell and trap zone and then move that up from that area. That's very interesting. That's actually a pretty good effect. I actually like that. I got a little bit confused there. That's actually pretty good. Next card here, we got Valiance Voltage Viscount. It's a level 4 fire monster that has a scale as 1. I think all of them have, all of them have a scale of 1. Okay, so if a Valiance Void, Karen Wissen is in your field zone, so this one here is in your field zone, is in your, am I an idiot? Oh, I was in the wrong monster. My bad. We're talking about this one. During your main phase, you can special summon this card to your main monster zone in this card's column. You cannot special summon for the rest of the turn except Valiant monsters and monsters from your extra deck. So the same thing as Buster Baron had. And then its monster effect is you control this special summon card. You can place one face-up Valiant pendulum monster from your extra deck face up into your spell and trap zone. That is not terrible, especially if you have something like Electromite. You can do that, put it into your pendulum zone, and then move it up. Very good effect there. And then if this card is moved from a monster zone to another, place one face up Valiant's Pendulum monster from your extra deck into the pendulum zone, which again is probably the same thing as this top effect here, so not as bad there. So not terrible. We got the oh, my bad, I forgot to move these. We got the Valiant Dominator Duke, which is a level 8 fire monster with a scale of 1. Also is a machine. All of these are the machines here. And it has a pendulum effect as if you control a Valiant Viral Keonig Wissen, which is this field spell here. You control a fire Valiant monster. You can spell summon this this card from your main monster to your main monster zone in the same column as well. So again, just the same effects as a lot of the Valiant monsters have. And then in the monster effect category, we can target one set card on the field. It cannot be activated this turn. That's not too bad. If this card is moved to the from a monster zone to another, you can target one face-up monster in your opponent's main monster zone. Take control of it, and if you do, treat it as a Valiant monster, but you cannot declare an attack or activate its effect. Wow, you got a Snatch Steal in the Archetype. That is not terrible at all. Again, it does target the monster, which I don't know. I mean, Snatch Steal targets, and that shit's still pretty good. That's actually pretty good. Very good effect there. And then we have Valencia Mad Marcus, which is a level 6 fire monster, a fire machine monster with a scale of 1. It has the same top effect as the level 8 here. If you control this field spell here, the Keonig Wissen, you can just special summon this from the spell and traps up to the same column monster zone, or if you control a fire Valiance monster as well. But its monster effect here is during your main phase, you can roll a 6-sided dice and excavate cards from the top of your deck equal to that result, and if you do, add an excavated Valiance card to your hand. That is not terrible. Now, it is more of a gambling effect because you have to roll for it, but if you roll like a 6, you basically get a free Prod of Prosperity. That is very good, but you can only add Valiance monsters, and then you shuffle the rest back into the deck. And if this card is moved from a monster zone to another, you can roll another 6-sided dice, and if the result is 2, 3, 4, or 5, special summon one monster card from your spell or trap zone to your main monster zone in its column. So you also got a Snipe Hunter type of effect. If you don't hit 1 or 6, you can special summon another monster from your spell and trap zones up to the main monster zones. Very good. I like this more than I do this card as a chance-like of effect, because these chances are not that bad. You're going to get the advantage no matter what. It just depends on how big the advantage is for the roll for the milling, and the bottom one is you basically have a really good chance. Like something like Snipe Hunter was used, and Snipe Hunter has the same thing as this card here. Very good card. Now onto the field spells here. We got the Valiance Void, Keonig Wissen. Its effect is when this card resolves, you can place one Valiant field spell from your deck to the face up to your opponent's field zone, except for Valiance Void, except for this card. If there are 2 cards in your field zone, the turn player can target one effect monster in their opponent's main monster zone in the same column as the monster as well. Place the targeted monster face up in its controller spell or trap zone in the same column as the continuous spell. That is pretty good, and if there's already a card in that zone, you can destroy that card. That's not too bad, I guess. You can just move things into the spell and trap zone and not have to waste, just worrying about destroying it or anything like that. And that's not terrible, I guess. And the other one is Valiance Void, the one I cannot fucking pronounce. If this card is resolved, it has the same thing. Place another Valiance field spell from your deck face up to your opponent's field zone, except for itself. If there are two cards in the field zone, the turn player can target one monster card in the spell or trap zone. The turn player special summons it to their main monster zone in the same column, and you can only use the effect of this card once per turn. So basically the opposite, where you can summon from the spell and trap zone up to the main monster zone. The field spells are, it's whatever, I guess. I guess they would rather use this than the machine one, but it's whatever. Now on to the fusion monsters here. We have Valiants Assemble Mamonaka. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. It's a level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Level 10 fusion water spellcaster monster with a scale of 10. It has the pendulum effect. During your main phase, you can activate one of these effects. Special summon this card to your main monster zone in its column, or move one monster in your main monster zone to an adjacent main monster zone. And you can only use this effect of the card once per turn. But if it's in the monster zone, and it's going to be 3 Valiant monsters to bring out during the main phase. Quick effect: target one effect monster in your opponent's main monster zone. Place that monster in your opponent's spell and trap zone in the monsters column as that, and treat it as a face-up continuous spell. And if there's already one card in that zone, destroy it. And if it was a monster card that you destroyed, your opponent loses life points equal to its attack. Not terrible. A quick effect, just move the monster zone into the spell and trap zone, is not terrible, but it's like whatever. It's pretty high risk, especially since you only have one card, one fusion spell technically that can get it out. And then we have Valiant Genius Gran, which is another level 10 fire machine monster that has a scale of 10. The pendulum effect is you can only activate one of these. Special summon this card from your main monster zone into the adjacent column, or move one monster in your main monster zone to an adjacent monster instead. So the same pendulum effect as the Mamoka here. And then its effect is only 2 Valiant monsters, so a little less to bring out. Must be either fusion summon or special summon from your face down extra deck by tributing a level 5 or higher non-fusion Valiant monster in the same column as an extra monster zone. Okay, that isn't terrible. I guess that's a little bit more easier than, Mamoka, because Mamoka has to actually be fusion summoned. But if this card is special summon, you can target one monster card in your opponent's spell or trap zone, return it to the hand. If you do, inflict damage equal to its attack. Then this card gains attack equal to the damage they took. Not terrible, I guess. I'm more excited for the monsters than I am the actual fusions of the deck there. But that's it for the entire archetype. Now let's get into my opinions on the archetype. Before we get into my opinions, I actually forgot to cover one here. We have Shinome, Princess of the Valiants here. It's a level 2 water monster with a scale of 1, a spellcaster as well. Its pendulum effect is you can special summon this card to your main monster zone in its card's column. You cannot special summon for the rest of the turn except for Valiants and from your extra deck. So basically the same thing as a lot of these pendulum monsters have, but its bottom effect is if you control this special summon card, you can add 1 Valiant spell or trap from your deck to your hand. So you basically just add the field spells from your deck to your hand here. Alrighty, not too bad. And then if this card is moved from a monster zone to another, you can add 1 Valiance monster from your deck to your hand. Now that is now a very, very beautiful effect. Just to add any Valiance monster, you can add the machine ones, you can add the human ones. Like very, very, very good card here. I can't believe I actually missed that, because that's actually probably one of the better Valiant monsters in the entire archetype. But now that I've covered all of them, now let's get into my opinions on the archetype. So, is the new Valiance archetype actually good? I think it has potential to be good. I like the monster zone aspect of the archetype, where you can just move stuff. It doesn't lock you out of your extra deck or anything like that. It just locks you into Valiance monsters when you use their pendulum effects to special summon themselves out. So you can still make something like Electromite or something like Apollousa. You can make all these powerful Link monsters if you want to. You can use the advantage of, maybe making XYZ monsters if you want to as well. I think it has the potential to be a good archetype if the, pendulum fanatics actually start testing with this deck a lot and stuff like that. It might have the potential to bring Electromite off the ban list as well. I do like the potential in this deck, and I can't wait to see what it actually does, not only in the OCG, but in the TCG as well. So yeah, that's it for the video. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe for more content on the channel, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.